A lot of big announcements coming out of Ford and Flat Rock today. So I don't know exactly where to start, but let's start with that $1.6 billion you won't be investing in a new plant in Mexico. Simply put, would you have made this same decision regardless of what the president-elect had said? Are you doing this because you don't need those cars to be made there, or because of the president-elect?
Well, David, we would make the same decision, and the main reason for canceling the plant is our next generation Focus was going to be built in that plant, and what we've seen is a marked decline in demand of small vehicles here in North America. So we don't need that capacity, and we're going to take the Focus that was supposed to be produced there and produce it in an existing facility that we have in Mexico.
So you would have made the same decision regardless of what the new administration was saying about this plant, because they'd been fairly critical. But you did, as I understand, talk with the president-elect and the vice president-elect today. Tell us about that conversation. Why did you give them a call?
Well, first off, we wanted to let them know the announcements that we were making this morning. And they were very pleased that we were making the announcement of investing $700 million in our plant in Flat Rock, Michigan, to build two high-tech, an autonomous vehicle and a fully electric SUV. And they were also very pleased that we're going to be adding 700 jobs over the next couple of years, which builds on the 28,000 jobs that we've created in the last 5 years. So they were pleased with our part to contributing to economic development here in the U.S.
But as you say, it was a Ford decision. It was not something that the president-elect can really go out and say he did this for America.
Well, it was what's best for our business, but as you can imagine, David, we look at all factors as we make these kind of decisions, and clearly we see a more positive U.S. manufacturing business environment under President-elect Trump. We see the pro-growth policies that he's outlining and the tax and regulatory reforms. So this is a vote of confidence that he can deliver on those things.
Well, and part of the vote of confidence is $700 million that you're investing in Flat Rock, 700 new jobs in Michigan there. If you look at the overall Ford level of employment, will it go up by 700?
Yes, overall we'll be adding these 700 jobs, which again adds to the 28,000 that we've created over the last 5 years. And David, as you know, even today, we are the largest employer of hourly automotive workers in the United States, and we're the largest producer of vehicles here in the United States, and we're one of the top exporters, and we're very proud of that.
Mark, when you talk about exports and imports, we're all reminded today of the tweet that came out of the president-elect having to do with another car company. Starts with a G, ends with an M, right? That had to do with the border tax adjustment. If the country went forward, it would require congressional action with a border tax adjustment. What would that do to Ford business across the Mexican border?
Well, we'd have to look at it in total, and obviously the Congress that's about to take office is going to be debating that, so we'll stay very close to that and understand what it means for our business. But to put it into perspective, David, 80% of our sales here in the United States comes from vehicles that are produced here in the U.S. Less than 15% of our sales comes from imports from Mexico, and we're one of the top exporters. So it's not just looking at, will there be, for example, some kind of tax, a border adjustment tax on imports, but we also have to look at exports, and that's what we'll look at as we look at the impact on our business.
Well, and to get ahead of ourselves a little bit here, have you run the numbers? Because as you say, you're a major exporter, not just an importer. And as I understand the proposal for a border adjustment tax, you get a credit as you exported, just as you got a tax coming in. Net, would Ford be better off?
Well, we're running the numbers right now. And as I mentioned, we are one of the top exporters, but we're going through those numbers right now to understand what it may mean for our business.
Okay, one of the things that you have done by this move and talking with the president-elect is to establish a relationship with this incoming administration. You've given them a gift in some sense. You did it because it was right for your shareholders, a gift nonetheless. What would you like to get back? And did you talk with the president-elect about things like fuel economy, things like currency manipulation, things like tax reform? What do you need at Ford back?
Well, we informed the president-elect and the vice president-elect this morning. So, as we look at the business going forward, our priorities, what we'd like to see is very clearly a level playing field for trade in opening markets. We would love to see tax reform. Also, at the same time, regulatory certainty and regulations that are aligned with market realities. Those are the type of things that we would like to see going forward.
And finally, Mark, as I say, there was a lot in this announcement, and I think everyone will be focused on Mexico and their conversation with the president-elect. There's also a lot in here about electrification of vehicles and what Ford sees as a future for EVs. Tell us about that part of the announcement.
Well, this is a massive announcement for us because we're investing $4.5 billion in electrified vehicles, and we're going to be bringing out 13 electrified vehicles over the next 5 years. We've talked about 7 of them today, including an F-150 hybrid, a Mustang hybrid, a Transit plug-in hybrid, as well as a few others. And what we're really doing as a company is we're taking the products, our most popular products, and what people love about them, and making them even better, because with our trucks, you'll get more capability. With our performance vehicles, you'll be able to get more performance from our sports cars. And of course, from our vans, you'll get more productivity. So it's a really big announcement and commitment on our part, and to lead in electrification here in the U.S. and globally.
And leading, it strikes me, really finally, Mark, is terribly important because you don't want to be caught behind as customers start to think about car companies and who is big in electrical vehicles. Can you be in a leadership position?
Absolutely. You know, we are the #1 seller of plug-in hybrids here in the United States today, and the #2 seller overall for electrified vehicles. So we want to build on that. You can see that through our announcements today. And keep in mind, we only talked about 7 of the 13 electrified vehicles that are coming, so there's more to come.